Is that you need to test the microphone or something? You put a microphone, but we didn't test it. Good? Okay, perfect. Excellent, yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's 1:10. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for coming to this very special masterclass. I don't know if you're aware, but the National Training Center for Canada was in the Ottawa area for many years. And I have with me today Xavier Thérien, who began his table tennis career, I believe, in the very early 90s, and quickly became a Canadian junior champion. He has since also become the North American champion for singles and doubles, and Canadian champion in teams. He was the Quebec champion for a number of years, so he's quite good at table tennis. And one of the reasons Xavier is good at table tennis is because of a training technique called multiballs. And this is something he believes very strongly in, and he's going to share some of these secrets with you today. So without any delay, Xavier Thérien, it's all yours.
Oh, right. All right, thanks, Steve. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm really happy to be here today to talk about a topic that really passionates me, which is multiball training. As you may know, I've spent about 30 years living table tennis, literally. So that's 30 years of searching for ways to improve my game. And multiball training is probably one of the best tools that you can use to improve. So especially in this gym, it's going to be fun for me today because as Steve mentioned, I actually trained many years in this very gym with the national team. It was our first permanent gym, and as I can see now, all the good conditions have been restored. You get great flooring, lights, and also the schedule. As I understand, a lot of the time for this gym is dedicated to table tennis, so that's great. It's a good gym to start a club in. All right, so my first question, what level is required to use multiball training? Is it just a high level? Is it intermediate? Is there a minimum rating to do it? All levels, exactly. That's. I think it was even written on the description. I thought I'd start with an easy question. Yeah, I mean, from beginner to intermediate, even high level. I know in China, some of the clubs there, they train multiball training every afternoon, right? Like morning is single ball practice, and then afternoon is multiball training. So that's just a slang that anybody can use it. You can. It's very flexible. So, what kind of shots can you work on with multiball training? Sorry? Loops. Yes. Anything else? Forehand, backhand. Can you do service receiving? Can you do short games? Defense, block? Everything. That's any shots. That's a reason why I chose to talk about this today, because it's so flexible. You can adapt it to your level, to your style, to the shots that you want to work on. You can adapt it to even your mood, actually. One day you come in already pumped up and you got a lot of energy to spend. You want the training to be very intense. No problem. That's for you. Multiball training, you can do fixed time series, 40 seconds or 1 minute, and then break and then start again. And that, believe me, that can get very intense. But if you're low energy, a little bit tired, recovering from a trip, or you have a cold or something, you want to still work multiball training, no problem. You just can slow down a little bit the rhythm, involve a little bit less footwork, work on your technique, on your defense. So any exercise that you do regularly with another training partner, you can do in multiballs too. So that's really very, very flexible. The only word of caution that I would give is just not to get too much into repetitive movements. So if you have tendency to have a shoulder problem, and you're very tight in your forehand, if you do 10 times in a row the same drill, you could get into injuries. So just listen to your body, use common sense, and there's so many different exercises that you can do, so I would just suggest to alternate between the different exercises. And that's exactly what I've done today. I've prepared a plan of different types of exercises, all with multi-ball, that work on different things, different dynamics, and I'll also invite, just to make it fun, some volunteer to come and try it later, so just get ready. And even at the end, after this sort of official demo, there's another section that would be a practice session, so everybody can come in. We can make groups of 3 and or even 2, and then we can I have another list of exercises that I plan to just for you to try out, just give you some ideas of what you can do, and later on then you can choose your own. And believe me, that's going to make a big difference. Like for me, if I train just multi-ball a couple times, once or twice per week, and then after a couple of weeks already you feel the difference in your technique, in your body, you feel more in shape and everything. So that should be fun. All right, so I'll start with the demo portion, and Steve's going to feed me some balls. I will basically have just about 1 minute exercises, and after my first exercise, I'm going to invite somebody from the audience to come and try out, and then we can just have conversation about what you feel like, and if you notice anything, after my first exercise, we can talk about it. So I'll just do about 1 minute, and Steve, you're going to give me, it's going to be very simple. It's going to be 3 spots. I'm going to use all forehand. It's going to be 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and then come back here. 1, 1, 1, like this. So I'm going to use all forehand in all of these shots. So that's basically work for the mostly footwork, forehand, speed, and to get started, with the training, get a good warm-up. Now, just before I start, just keep in mind I haven't played since I stopped, 2 years ago, seriously. So I'm going to be rusty, that's for sure. It's not here to evaluate my level, but it's really to work on the multi-ball thing and talk about what we can do with multi-balls and how it can benefit your game.
Just quickly, does it matter if I send the multi-balls from this corner, that corner?
Up to you, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. And you can go faster than that, right? I want you to look at my legs, right? When I move from one corner to the other. All right, so did you notice anything? Any observations?
You said you were rusty, I didn't see it.
Right. Well, normally I would warm up first, right? So 10 minutes at least warm up, forehand, backhand, so just not get any injuries. That'd be good. Anything else?
There's an advantage to the person also sending the ball that they can practice their accuracy too, right? It's not just the person receiving.
Exactly. We're going to get into one of those. The second one is a good point because that's exactly what I had planned. You can do, the one that's sending can block one extra ball, or you can have a third person that's going to go and block or counterattack. So you can work multiple people at the same time. Anything else?
Very tiring. You could change your rhythm. You could go really intense or not so intense.
Yeah, you can adjust the rhythm, footwork. Now in this one, notice I used only forehand, so that's more intense for the leg. especially to start the training session. It's a good way to just get warmed up and get some speed into your legs. One other thing, I know, how about the percentage of success, right? Did I get all the balls on the table?
No way.
No, right? So you don't want to get 100% of the balls. This is the time to try your shots. It doesn't matter if you're going to make on the table or not, because the next ball is still coming. So that's the time where you want to actually try to push a little bit. You want to not be too low, but not too high. If you go 60, 70%, that's good. You don't want to go like 90%. That'd be, maybe you need to push yourself a little bit more. Yes?
When you hit from two different positions, you target to see the same target or you change the target? So when you hit it.
Right, it's up to you, depending on what you want to work on. You don't want to hit the player that's sending the balls, because then it's going to break the exercises. But other than that, you want to practice balls that are really wide or to the middle. That's really up to you. In this one, I was mostly focused on the footwork, the position, getting ready physically, the forehand. But of course, the next step is to actually go to the middle, to the backhand, to the forehand.
Yeah, because I wasn't following your feet. Could you describe what you were doing with your feet as you're doing that?
Sure, yeah. I mean, the forehand, usually you want to have your left, depending if you're right-handed or left-handed, the feet of the racket can be a little bit more to the back, so you can allow a weight transfer. You come from the back going forward. So that's the first thing that initiates the movement, plus all your body here. And after that, you add, shoulder and arm, like especially here is going to be a lot of speed. And finally, the wrist just at the ball contact. So all of this together, like a slingshot here, I want us to hit the ball a little bit in front of me. Start with the legs, the body, shoulder, arm, and then wrist at the end. So that when you hit the ball, you want to have maximum acceleration.
But going laterally, so are you just doing a chassé? Or, because I sometimes cross my feet like an idiot, but it's almost like something you want to do, and I can't convince myself that I should just...
Right. Usually you want to try avoid crossing the feet. So, stay just... And one exercise that's good for that, I did it once, is with the ball, like one of those big balls. Just, you hold it like this, and you do the exercise with it. It's kind of fun, but in some cases, when you start from this corner, and you have to reach really far, but that's more like a high-level technique, then you might cross a little bit like this and come back. Right, but it takes time. The first thing, basic, try not to cross the legs. Yes?
You're saying to keep your shoulder still and just off from the forearm and wrist?
Yeah, it's not the shoulder that's going to give the most speed, because especially you don't want to get shoulder injury. Usually you want to try to relax your arm before you hit. And just at the contact, then you're going to concentrate and make it a little bit harder. But as soon as you finish, you try to relax it a little bit. And the most speed, the power is going to come from the body, and then here from this part and the hand is going to be more effective. Yes?
How would you compare a robot to the multiball?
A robot is good too. It's probably not going to be as efficient in the sense that, when you have somebody feeding the balls, he can adjust exactly at your speed, go, push you, but not too much. He can make a lot of variations that the robot cannot do, but it can be a good complement to training. If with the robot, you can do it anytime. You don't need a partner, even if you have one at home. You save the travel time, so it can complement your training. I would not go for just only a robot. That's if you want to work on physical, technical, it can be a good tool, certainly. But then when you get into the game, then you have the service, receiving, all the strategy, and everything else. So it's going to be one of your building blocks of training, but not the only one. All right, we're going to have more time for a question. I'm going to jump into the next one, which is basically to invite somebody from the audience to just come and try it, just for fun, and do the exact same exercise that I did there. So that's your chance. to get a good 1 minute multiball training. And again, we'll be indulgent because there's no warm-up for him as well. So he okay. So I'm gonna feed this one when there's a. All right. So the other thing is, for the person that's feeding the ball, you want to make a ball that's going to be similar to the real game. So you don't want to, for example, hit it too high. If I was to take the ball from here, it would be almost a smash, you know. So if I take it from here, the ball's going to be really bouncy. It's not going to be close to the game. You want to hit the ball very low. So usually I'm going to just make one bounce and do something like that, just to keep the ball, you know, low over the net. And like I said, you adjust the speed depending on the other ones. I'll do again the same thing. I'll just put a timer, 1 minute, so at least there's a limit when it's going to beep. So 1, 1, 1, and go back to the. Exactly, all forehand. Oh, sorry. One more. Start again. All right, 15 seconds left. Nice. Good, thank you. Excellent, great. So, any other observation on that? So that was really good. I mean, at the end, I was starting to adjust a little bit the rhythm to get more speed, and you could see it was getting into the rhythm. And if you do that just, you know, for 30 seconds at that speed, it's already a good training. You take a break, you know, 1 minute, 2 minutes, and then start again. And if you do that, you know, for your session, like 1 hour is already enough for multiballs. It's actually a great training. So I'll ask Steve to come back here. I'm going to do a second one, which, so like I said, I chose different exercises that is going to be pretty different. Now the second one is going to be less intense on the footwork. It's going to be mostly on my technique and contact. So you're going to always send the ball at the same spot, right here. And actually here, I'm going to also ask for another volunteer, maybe the last one, we'll see, just to come and block my balls. So you get a chance to, as I'm working on the exercise, somebody goes on the other side, can block or even counter-attack, so you can get a good feel of the ball, of how much spin there's going to be in my balls, and you know how much speed. So great, I see that you got somebody here. Excellent, thanks. What's your name? Remy. Nice to meet you. Excellent. So just all my balls are going to be crossed there, and you can start just blocking. And as you get more familiar with it, if you want to try a small counter attack, that's up to you. Just get the feeling. I'm going to always play from there, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do twice close to the table, right at the bounce. 2 balls, and I'm going to hit here, and 2 balls I'm going to hit further, but you always all the same. I'm just going to make the changes myself. So always just put the ball in the same spot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm going to go cross, and then you try to play anywhere in that. As long as you don't come in here, it would disturb the exercise, but anywhere else here, doesn't matter. And so I'm going to do 2 balls on each timing. So I want you to check the timing, the contact with the ball. And forward and backward, it's one of the footwork that we don't always train. We train sideways, but forward and backward is also important. So start the timer here. So 1 minute. Right. Great. Any thoughts from you? Any observations?
Try to control it.
Any other thoughts? So one thing I noticed, Rémi was a little bit too far from the table, I think. Because then as soon as you back, oh, sorry, we really got to clean that floor every exercise. So as soon as you go back, you give time to the opponent, right? It gives you time, but it gives the other one time as well. And that's, if you're from here, if it's just blocking, the other one's going to attack, and that's going to be it. So your best chance is to stay close. And as far, if the other one hits really hard, it's going to come back even faster because you're close to the table. That's one thing to work on. Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks, Rémi. Good hand for Rémi. All right. So we'll get into yet another exercise where I'm going to work a little bit more on the short balls. So I'm going to do 3 balls short in the half table here, 3 balls in there, underspin, yeah, and then 1 ball long to the floor and underspin again. So 3 and then 1. So here it's not too much about the big footwork for the rallies, but the footwork is going to be more to come in and to come out for this ball, and I'm going to focus mostly on the short balls. So that's service, receiving. And as you get to the higher level, you want to be able to keep balls short so that the other one is not able to attack. So when I say short, that means 2 bounces on the table. Because if there's only 1 bounce, I got all the space that I want to go hard. But if it's short and low, and the second bounce is here, then I don't have the space. I have to go over the table, and I cannot make a strong attack. So that's the purpose of the short games. So that's probably a little bit less intense on the footwork and everything, but it's really good for the hand control, ball control, and to avoid the other one to take the attack. So 3 balls and 1 long, and it's going to beep after 1 minute. So start with the 3 balls short. Okay, so Did you notice anything special?
Sometimes you smash it at the very beginning because it's quite high.
Right, when it's too high, then that's a chance. You know, short balls that are high are very dangerous because, you know, with the angle from here going down, it's almost like a smash from here. It's the same angle. So that's, you know, for those balls, you want to make sure to feed them very low. So that's why if it's too high, then I would probably flip. If I, what was the timing? If I try to keep it short, did I let it bounce and hit it here? Or did I take it right after the bounce? You noticed? So I mostly, when I want to keep it short, I'm going to try to take it right after the bounce. So that I touch the ball pretty low to have a small arch here. If I go up, then it's going to be very hard to get a trajectory to keep the ball short. And if I let it down, then it needs a lot of control because I'm further away from the net, right? So I need to give more speed to pass the net, but not too much to go out. So it's getting a little bit difficult, and it gives more time to the opponent. So short balls, you want to try to get them right at the bounce.
That's on backspin.
Backspin.
You want to put a lot of backspin to it when you're returning?
If you're returning, your goal is going to be to keep it low and short. If that's your placement, you're not going to go for the extra spin for the short ball. The short ball is really for avoiding the other one to have a strong attack. If you go long, then you can let it bounce and take it at a higher point, and then you'll go with full speed and spin to get extra spin and place it right on the line here. So that's kind of the two options if you want to do for backspin, either short, take it really close to the table, really after the bounce, or you go for a long, very deep on the line here. You probably want to go like in the middle to force the other one to turn, and that's very uncomfortable if it's a lot of spin and right here in the middle. The other one needs to move. Maybe it's going to be not strong enough so that you can take over. Or if you have enough room, enough angle, you can certainly flip, and that's very good too. I mean, the flip, especially if you place it well, if it's in the middle or in the corners, that's going to. The flip is not necessarily to win the point right away, but maybe to get in a good position and for the next ball to have the advantage.
What do you mean by flip?
Flip is just to basically the ball's going to turn forward like a topspin. It's like a mini topspin, but over the table. So that would be from a short ball. That would be a flip here. All right. Okay. So I'll go to the next one that I had planned, which is basically a combination of balls. So again, all the ones that I did before, it's just one type. There's so many variations. Like the first one I did footwork, 3 spots. It could be 2 spots. If you want to include backhand, it could be like 1 backhand, 1 forehand, and then 1 forehand here. There's many variations. The short balls, it could be 1 or 2 short, and then the long ball can be any corner. So you can always change that. I'm just giving you examples of different types. And the next one is going to be a link between 2 balls. So you can work on one specific ball, but then you probably want to link it with another ball in the game. That's what's happened. So it could be, your first topspin from the backhand, and then after that, a forehand right away. So it could be a link between these 2 balls. And then you give 1 second break, start over. First backhand and then forehand. Or it could be a lot of different combinations. So now I'm going to do one that's actually 4 balls. So it links the short ball, the first topspin, and then pivot and footwork. So you're going to give me 1 ball short of the forehand. And then after that, the next one's going to be long here, backspin again. And then I'm going to start with my backhand. So that's like in the game, the first topspin. I'm going to turn. So 1 more here, but it's not going to be backspin because I've started this one and then topspin. So that's one thing you want to keep in mind. If I'm starting a big topspin, I'm not going to get a short bar right after in the game. So you want to keep it, as close to the game as possible. So 1 short, 1 long backspin, then 1 long topspin, and final 1 topspin over there. And then you can give 1 second break, and then you start again the series with short. So maybe we can do it once just to get used to it. So 1 short, 1 long backspin, and then top spin, and then this one top spin, and then 1 second break and start over. So that's the type of exercise you can do with links between different balls, and that coming a little bit closer to the game rally. So I'm gonna just remove any balls that are here. We have so many balls here. So okay. All right, let's get started. Now just keep going. If you miss one, just keep going. Doesn't matter. Okay. All right, so you get the idea. It's just about linking different balls, starting from the short to the first topspin, a little bit of footwork, and depending on your game, you can do anything you want. Any other questions or observations?
Why do you want to switch from backspin to topspin? Couldn't that be the same? Topspin all the time?
It could be all the time topspin. Here I was, in the game you usually start with underspin. There's many rallies that start with underspin. So then you have to, it's your first topspin. It means, it's coming backspin and you want to attack. So either with backhand or forehand, you want to take the attack. After you put a topspin, what is going to be the response? It's almost never going to be backspin unless you're playing a defense player. That's really special style. Most of the time, the other one is going to block, and that's the response that's coming back. It's coming topspin. So that's the reasoning between the ball. When you want to link different balls, just think about what kind of ball is going to come back most of the time in a real match. Okay, so I'm going to do another one. How are we doing on time now? Okay, I think we got time for maybe 1 or 2 extra. All right, so I'm going to do 2 extra. The first one's going to be either short or long to my backhand. Always underspin. You can choose. You can make 2, 3 short and then 1, 2 long. So doesn't matter. So either short or long backspin to my backhand. So here, you might have noticed in the previous one, like the footwork to go short and come back is almost as important as going sideways, because usually the rally they start with a short ball, at least when you get to higher level. So that's very important to be able to come in very quickly and back very quickly, and maybe it's going to be short again. So that part here is very important, and what I'm going to work on now is that I don't know if it's going to be short or long. So that's one part you can add in every of these exercises, is maybe you don't know where the ball is coming. So it could be 1 or 2 here and then 1 or 2 here. And just add as you get your shots are more comfortable, add a little bit of uncertainty there and variation. In the game you have to adapt. Every ball you got to adapt. So that's one of this one here is just going to be very simple, just on this side here, short or long. So it's simple, but it's at the same time it's not that easy, right? You can actually work on footwork and on also your reaction to see if the ball is going to be short or long. All right, so as you can see, it's not that easy. It's only 2 placements, but many times I got caught trying to go short, and it was actually long. And anything you noticed about the short ball? What kind of shots did I use to play it?
Flicking a lot.
Sorry?
Flicking.
Yes, and the reason is that recently, I mean, last few years, the players developed a really good backhand flip from over the table. Using the whole wrist, it's almost like a topspin. And if it's a little bit too high, they're just going to kill it. So it's much more aggressive than just pushing it back. And even that flip, you see all the range with the elbow and the wrist. You can go all over the table, even if it's short. The more spin you put, the safer it gets, because the ball's going to drop more. You can even add side spin. When you get higher levels, some of them it's flip, but a little bit side spin. They go completely cross there, so that's it's very efficient. Okay, anything else before I go with the last drill?
So you put always your right leg forward, right?
Usually, that's how I do. If it's, I noticed here, also Steve was really hard on me because he was going really on the sideways here. It's not going to happen that often in the game that it really goes to the side. So here, there could be some examples where you would use your left, but in most cases, you're going to use your racket hand. So if you're right-handed, you're going to use the right foot, usually just for the balance. So be able to come in and come back in good position and good balance. But that can depend a little bit on the balls. All right, last one, which now I'm going to be mostly in defense mode. Defense or counterattack. So the other one is going to make an attack. I'm going to do half with my backhand, half with my forehand. So he's going to actually make some top spins to me. And it can be sometimes fast, sometimes with a lot of spin. So just as examples, you can go pretty slow but spinny, or even with more speed. So that's just, after that I gotta get used to the speed the ball is coming, the spin, control it. And if I get a good control, then I can actually push it a little bit, go over. Same thing with the forehand. So I'm gonna do about half time, so like 30 seconds with my backhand, 30 seconds with my forehand, and you do just topspin all the way to the same spot here.
First 30 seconds on that side.
Yeah.
That side, just bury the spin.
Exactly. And so that's, for all the other exercises, I was really working on me taking the initiative, but now it's the opposite. So sometimes in a game, it's the other one, and you gotta be able to cope with it. So last one, then we're gonna, open up for maybe a round of questions. And after that, we'll go with the practice parts where you're gonna all be able to try it out, whoever is interested. So let's start it. First half to the backhand side, second half with the forehand side. Yeah, okay, go ahead, switch. Okay, good, perfect, thank you. So as you've seen, it's really about, when the other one's attacking, taking the first few balls that are trying to feel the ball, how much speed, how much spin, and when I get comfortable, I try to go over and put some pressure, go over. That's pretty much it. Any question? There's, like I said, we're gonna all try it out with box by teams, and I have some other exercises just to give you some ideas of what you can do, and that's really intense. You know, in like 40 minutes, an hour, that you can do a lot of work, and then you start doing this once or twice a week, and soon you'll see that many aspects of your game are gonna move up. Any questions? Yes?
Why you blow on your racket?
We got new balls. That's really good. And all the new balls, they have powder on it. And you can see all the spots on my racket. It's all dust here. So that's why I'm just trying to clean it up. If there's too much, then it starts slipping away. And that's the reason I was just cleaning my racket like this.
Training?
More so a comment that it seems that in the practice, you want to try as hard as you can and miss some shots and not berate yourself for it, or at least, I mean, on some shots you want to get the confident shot in, but on a lot you want to go as much as hard as you can and not worry about missing it. And the more that you practice it that much, that you will get it eventually.
Yes, exactly. That's a very good point. That's, you know, especially with multi-balls, that's the time to try it because the ball's going to come back anyway. So you want to have a good feeling, and once you get a good shot where you go strong, you try to remember that feeling, and the next ball you try it again, and you know you're going to miss some, but eventually you're going to remember the feeling that you have when it's hard and it's going to be consistent at the same time. So you want to work on that. Multi-ball is a great way to do that, and eventually you're going to get, you know, your percentage high enough, even on the strong ones. Even if you miss a few, if you have a very strong shot, you know, if 9 times out of 10 you win the point, even if you miss one, it's not a problem. So you have to get to the balance there in between. You don't want to be 50% because that's, you know, 1 time out of 2 you just give the point away. So you have to find your balance. You know, the amount of risk that you want to take, and especially at the end of the games, that's more kind of a strategy aspect. But at the end of the game, you don't want to be too passive because then it's the other one that's going to decide whether he's going to win or not.
Well, I found that at the end of games, when I start to play conservative, it often works to my advantage. The other person will take that extra risk factor at 9-9 or 10-9, and I've won a lot more games by being conservative near the end, but you would say you would challenge that then?
Well, that really depends, first of all, on the level, because for sure, if you take an example, the very high levels, the high-level player, their shot, that when they take the advantage, they're very confident. They're going to be very consistent with strong shots. They're going to take the initiative. So as your level improves, you're probably going to want to take a little bit more risk toward the end, but not too much. Sometimes, you know, taking a risk doesn't mean trying the greatest shot ever. It could be just, oh, I'm going to surprise him, and instead of returning long like I did it all the whole match, I'm just going to return short that one. You know, that could be the change that you do at the end of the game, and the other one's just going to be a little bit surprised, and you can take advantage on it. So it's, you know, that's, you know, playing a lot of matches in the end and trying to balance, you know, the amount of risk. You don't want to go extra, but you certainly want to try to take the initiative at least of the direction of the game. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work all the time. In some games, you can take one approach and it's going to work. But yeah, I mean, multi-balls, just to come back to that point, is a great way to try risking a little bit more to improve, you know, the quality of your balls. And eventually you're going to get it consistently in the game. Yes?
In the multi-ball, if you're just focusing on getting the ball on the table, you're not really focusing on the form, right?
Yes, so you don't want to just focus on getting the ball on the table. You want to try to, I mean, it's going to be different stages. If you're just trying to, you know, get your technique ready to get a good, strong topspin, and you're not worrying about the match. It's just, the match is going to be, long, in a long time. So then you probably want to just focus on your technique, your position, the placement of your balls, how you relax your arm, your acceleration, amount of speed. And then as you get closer to getting this stroke into your game, then you're going to want to probably think more about the placement. Okay, where I'm going to play against a right-handed, and if I go down the line, it's going to go to his backhand. So you're going to just get this into your mind a little bit, and linking between the balls. So just not one ball at a time, but that's great if you can do one topspin. But in the game, it doesn't start with a topspin. It starts with a service, and then a service receive, and then eventually you get to the topspin. If you can't receive, you're never going to get your topspin inside the game. It's like having a sport car that goes really fast, but you don't have a driver license, right? You can't drive it. So that's the same thing here. In order to get to your shot, you need to first start the rally. So multiballs is also good. It can be just for the technique, for physical parts, but even close to the match, close to the competitions, we can still do it. It's just that the exercise is going to be slightly different. It's going to be more variation, uncertainty, where you don't know where the ball is going, short or long, right or left, and eventually it could be all table. There's a lot of flexibility in it.
All right, so Xavier, in a few moments, we're going to wrap up the seminar portion, and everyone's going to go to their table, about 3 or 4 people per table. What exercise do you want them to do first?
Okay, so I've got a plan. I had a few different exercises. So the first one, I wanted to just get a warm up. So it's going to be one ball to the middle, one ball any corner. So you can use your backhand, and on the other corner, your forehand. I used to do it sometimes all forehands. That's a really hard one because after the middle one, you don't know which corner is going to go. So you need to get ready to use forehand all day. Well, that's really hard. Now we're going to use backhand too, so it's going to be more of a warm-up to get you ready. And then I have a few other plans. So, some that are going to be more physical, the one that's going to be the block, like we did. So one is doing the exercise, and there's an extra player doing, one extra ball blocking. So that's the advantage of this one is basically, first you need less balls because every ball you're going to hit twice. You can do that with only 2 players or 3 players, and that gives you, a ball that is a real ball coming from, not from the basket, but from really somebody that's playing it. So it's a ball that is closer to the game situation. And then I got a few other ones planned.
Perfect. Well, I know this is only half over, but let's give Xavier a warm round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're
Now,
welcome.
if everyone can just give us a little bit of a hand, we're going to move the chairs